I hope you had fun doing that. The next activity, so we've kind of identified what we like, what we don't like, what we'd like to change in the area, how we'd use space. But to make change, we need to work with others. To make real substantial change, we need to work with others. And that's something we talk to young people about. So the next activity that we're going to look at is the circle of influence. And in this activity, we kind of look at what kind of influence do young people have in their lives. A lot of time we talk about young people have a voice, young people are empowered, young people can make change, but we don't actually look at the practicalities of how they do that and who they talk to make that change happen for them. Okay. So the circle of influence, it's basically, again, not high tech, flip chart, draw it out, circles, you know, youth work at the end of the day. So in the first circle, it's kind of what kind of circle of influence do they have in their social and personal lives? So we're talking about their friends, family, whatnot. Next one, environment. What's in their environment? So school, youth clubs, community projects, local gyms, local shops. And then the last circle, government, policy and national. So who can they talk to? So MSYPs, MPs, local councils, if they want to make change happen. So it's kind of identifying all the people that they can talk to make change happen. So we have seen this a bunch of times, haven't we, Ia, when they've, after attending this training, they've went on to say, actually, you know, who's in our local community? Who can I talk to? Who can I work with? So for one group, and you've probably seen the video from Berwickshire Connect about the bushy mess. And they had like a massive area that was just really overgrown. There was like broken glass, there was bricks and whatnot. And they really wanted to tackle that issue. And what happened was the community kind of came together and helped clear that out. So that was really good. They were talking to local tradespeople. They were going to local businesses to see if they could source kind of plants and whatnot. So that was really good. And that really benefited the community because the community could see their view out their window and it wasn't obstructed. So it was just the thing about like young people saw that, made the change, and it benefited the whole community. So it's not just, you know, young people doing things for themselves, it's for the whole community as well. But yeah, definitely it's a really good one to think about. Everyone's circle of influence, all the different people they know, who can they talk to? It might be, you know, my friend's dad is a joiner and they want to make a bench or whatnot. So it's just trying to tap into everyone they know, people they might be in connection with, but also thinking about at the higher level as well, because a lot of the time, even adults feel like, oh, I can't contact MPs if I have an issue or whatnot, but to just reassure young people that the government, they're there to serve you. So if you do have a concern, if you do have a question, you can raise that. And how can you raise that question? We've had councillors come out and talk to young people about their place in space as well. So it's just trying to make it more kind of accessible. I think sometimes when we think about making change, it's a bit daunting and we don't know who initially to contact. But that's why I really like circle of influence. And again, me and Ia are always like amazed at all the amazing things young people come up with that we potentially might not think of. And they're like, oh, what about this person and this person? And we're like, yeah, how come we never thought of that? So, you know, trust young people to take the lead and make it better. And I think that's probably the main thing in Young Placechangers that I found when I've been delivering it, is young people will do these activities, make it better, and kind of see something that we didn't. And that's why it's so important to get young people involved in placemaking, because they do have a really unique viewpoint and contribution to make.
I'll add to that, as you can see, the little Twitter birdie there on the picture as well is the other conversation after you've identified these different groups in your community. And we just just reminds me of Jamie from Aberfeldy saying that there's a group in our community there's a group for everything. So there's the cinema group, there's the community council, there's the church group. Some places do have all these groups and people, and then it's trying to work out, well, how would we communicate with them? How would we talk? How would we get our ideas and projects out to them? So for some it is social media. Other groups have come up with posters and you know, leaflets. And before a year and a half ago is also about like having a local event where you can invite people in to share your ideas with them, and then adapt the idea of change that the young people maybe had, adapt that to also incorporate what other groups in the community are thinking. So hopefully be able to do events like that again, but actually doing them outdoors is a good way of doing it that is still safe in many ways. And this is on a flip chart, but I mean, that is one thing that you probably could do with a group of young people using Jamboard or Miro or one of those tools that you can use online, where everybody plots onto the different circles of influence. So that, I think that would be one that you could move online if you had to.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about a bit about Dragon's Den. We've not included it, but I think it's really important. So one of the other activities that we done was kind of a Dragon's Den pitch. And when we ran Young Placechangers, there was some funding to support the young people to make a change in their community. And one of the first things they done was they done a Dragon's Den pitch. So they had kind of consulted and evaluated their local space. They had identified what they wanted to change. And then they had done the circle of influence to think about how they were going to make change happen. Then it came to a Dragon's Den pitch. So again, this could be done and you can source other funding, but it's a really good way to get young people to think about like what they might need and how they might need to kind of sell their ideas and why it's a good idea to invest in their community. So we would say like you get 5 minutes to kind of present a pitch on why we should give money to support your idea. And it was absolutely phenomenal. As Ia said, they made like a little post-it note tie to look official. It was really, really good to see all the ideas they were coming away with. And it was great to put that in and fund our applications as well. And again, that's upskilling young people to think about how they sell for themselves, but also like communication skills as well, which was really good to see. Another thing we done when we done Young Placechangers was we accredited the training through the Dynamic Youth Awards. So at Youth Scotland, we have lots of different awards, High Five Award, Dynamic Youth Award, Youth Achievement Award, and basically they act as a framework that can be kind of wrapped around any kind of pre-existing youth programme. So it's not anything in addition to, you're kind of basically just mapping what the young person's already doing. So it works on a plan, do, review basis. So the young person plans a challenge. So the challenge could be, a challenge is just basically an activity, like take part in Young Placechangers. And then they think about what they want to get out of Young Placechangers. So I want to make a difference in my community. I want to speak in front of a group, this, that, the next thing. And awards are so good because it gets young people to think about all the learning from all the activities that they're doing, because they are doing lots of work. So it's kind of that recognition of actually I'm doing a lot of work, but it's also a recognition because they get an award. So the Dynamic Youth Award is accredited at SEQF level 3, so they get that, they get a certificate as well. And it's just a really nice way to accredit the work that they've done as well.